Welcome to the IRONMAN Insider Podcast, presented by Morton. I'm your host, Matt Lieto, and today I'm pumped to chat with Sam Long, one of the coolest and most exciting athletes on the Ironman scene. Sam's known for his big personality, relentless drive, and smart approach to racing. From his young beginnings to smashing races and making a name for himself while winning a ton of 70.3s alongside 3 Ironman titles, he's constantly pushing the boundaries. We'll talk about his journey, what keeps him motivated, and his thoughts on the sport. What's going on, Sam?
Yo. Nice to be here. I was glad you mentioned the 3 Ironman victories, because these days it seems everyone's forgotten that I've done like 24 Ironmans and I've won 3, and everyone seems to think I'm just a middle distance guy these days now.
Dude, it's actually, I was nervous because when I said 3, you got a look on your face. I'm like, oh no, did I mess up? Did he get more than that? But yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. I thought a lot of people say 1, or they just skip the Ironmans entirely now. They go lots of 70.3 wins, and I go, oh, you're leaving out some of the most important parts.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's hard because I think I tried to count. You've won what, like 14 or 15 70.3s?
Yeah, I think it's because I did win a couple challenge half distance races, so I know it's 19 total.
Oh, cool.
But I think it's split across 3 fulls. I think it's 14 halves, and then there were 2 other challenge races, I think, or something like that.
Crazy. Well, needless to say, you've got some chops, and you've got experience over both distances. And coming off of World Championships in Nice, how's the recovery going? Just a couple weeks out.
Honestly, it's been a really hard recovery for me. I suppose I traveled back, and I was really ambitious. I wanted to do Ironman Chattanooga, which was 2 weeks after. And so I got back, and like mentally and emotionally, I was really hungry to kind of go and get that Kona qualification and go to Chattanooga and get another one. But so because of that, I wasn't like maybe listening to how tired my body was. So I spent I still recovered for 4 or 5 days. And then I was like, okay, I got 9 days, and I tried to do a couple sessions. And then I was starting to realize like, oh, the body's kind of tired, but I was still like gung-ho. Okay, I really want to make it to Chattanooga, because I was thinking, okay, if I can go and get it done, then my whole season could be done, and I've got a baby coming, and everything could be done. So it was like, there were good reasons to try and do this. And then finally, when I was literally 30 minutes to leave to the airport, and I went, this isn't going to happen. Like I gotta respect that my body's tired, and that also emotionally and mentally, I am also still a little tired. And so I made the hard but right decision not to get on a plane. And I think it's better, because the signs were there that it most likely, maybe I made it halfway through that marathon and then realized I was cooked and either had to walk it in or DNF or something, which just, I would have hated to do that. So it was the right call.
Yeah. And it was funny. I saw your post on that, and it's always hard when you have a goal to try to, especially after World Championship, like get to another race. And people generally will put off that decision as late as possible. So like to see you like call it before you got on the flight, like it's harder, but it's also more definite, right? You're like, okay, I'm out. I'm not going on the plane. Where I've seen a bunch of guys get on the flight, get their bags, do everything, and then like race morning be like, I'm too tired. You know?
Yeah, totally. And that was kind of the thing. But knowing me, like I knew if I got on that plane, then once I'm there, I'm taking time away from the family, I would probably have been like, I'll roll the dice and see what happens. Which of course a part of me is still like, oh, I wonder what would have happened. But I have to trust, the feelings that my body was telling me.
Yeah, man. And I think that 2-week window is so hard, because for everybody listening who's done an Ironman, you most know that like there's periods of time where you feel okay. And then for me, it's like 10 days out, you can often feel like the worst, right?
Yeah.
Like it'll feel fine. And then you're just like, I have no energy whatsoever.
Yeah. Like I actually think had it been 1 week, I could have pulled it off and I would have actually done really, really well. But then it was like 10 days, 12 days, I just started to get really tired, and I was like, oh, or if even 3 weeks I could have done, because then I would have rested more and been able to but it was just that 2 weeks, just this time did not agree with my body. So that's okay, you know?
Oh, totally. And dude, smart call. And I forget how young you are, because you've been doing this since you were like a teenager, right? Like you're not even 30 yet, right?
I'm 29. Yeah, 29.
Dude, ridiculous. Because did you start? I feel like I raced you at an Xterra when you were like 19 or 20 or something in Ogden, like forever ago.
Probably, yeah, because that's kind of how I started. I might have even
Yeah.
been, I probably was, yeah, 18 or 19 years old there in Ogden, Utah, because
Yeah.
that's how I started doing those Xterras. And I went, like, I only started the sport at 18 years old. I must have
It's
been
crazy.
20 because then I only did a season and a half as an age grouper, and I turned pro after a season and a half.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, that's crazy. And it's cool to see someone your age, obviously with the experience you've had since you've been racing pro for that long, start like making wise decisions, right? Like it's kind of new to the sport where someone that's not 30 has that much experience. I think it's becoming a little bit more common. Obviously, the Norwegians have been doing this for a long time. You see, like Rudy von Berg is very similar. Like you guys are kind of the old guard to some extent, and you're still stinking young.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, right? The sport's kind of changed because, yeah, we're maybe not the old guard, but like
Yeah,
I guess more experienced, or I guess you could call us the old guard, even though
kind of.
we're not even 30 yet. But you just don't see people are coming up so young, so good, accomplishing so much, and you're also, I feel like, maybe not seeing as many. Obviously, there's still some older guys around. I mean, Cam Worth, I think, is 42 or 43, and he's still going. And
Totally.
I feel like it's maybe changed. The peak, I think, used to be 35 to 38, maybe, and you're not
Yeah.
seeing that as much now.
No, it's way different, and it's everything has changed to a certain extent. And I'm glad I'm gonna get back to Nice here, but kind of get derailed. But like back in the day, like I think that I kind of started the sport like supporting my brother and him racing the World Championships, and like I was like kind of a scholar of the sport to a certain extent, just wanting to be there, and obviously came up alongside at a certain point. But like back in the day, it was like you got to do Kona like 5 times before you like have a chance at the podium, and then like once you've done it like 8 times, you like have a chance to do these things, right? And now it's like I was just kind of looking at stats of the Norwegians just recently, just actually messing around with my brother, and I mean, dude, all those guys won their first time
I know
at a
on
world
debut,
championship.
it's completely
It's insane.
it's really crazy. The fact that
Yeah.
all three of them won on debut, but maybe then the hope to the rest of us is that they don't win the next times.
None of them have won it again. Nobody's won it twice out of that group, right? So like maybe that's it. But yeah, it's crazy. And like Sam Laidlow almost won his first time and he won the second time, right? Like that's a lot. It's all changed to a certain extent. And I think you get that. And I think one of the Norwegians will win again. But you do see when somebody comes out in that dynamic of a fashion that yes, you'll have one good one and maybe you don't know what it feels like, or maybe the second time you try too hard and you like whatever, but I still think there's an advantage to a certain extent for like when I saw Rudy von Berg in Kona last year, I was like watching him race from start to finish. I was like, dude, that guy's like a veteran. Like he made all the right moves and he's still super, super young, right? So it's like guys like him and you have still that youth and the ability to be at this top level, but also have maybe kind of an ace in your hand with that experience that you have too.
Yeah, I agree. I guess I would say my thoughts on it are that if you look at the training age of people, like the
Yeah,
training age of pros now is
totally.
younger than ever before. So like those Norwegians, they all maybe won on debut, or Laidlaw, I think he was 24 when he won,
Yeah,
which is really mind blowing when you think about that. But Laidlaw actually started as a triathlete, I think, when he was like 4 years old. So he actually
yeah,
had been training for 20 years, and they're Norwegians. It's crazy if you go and you look. I mean, heck, I went and I saw Gustav's Facebook profile. It's him winning some like junior world ITU Cup when he's like 12 years old or something. Like these
dude, they've
guys,
been training together every day since they were like 13 or something.
yeah. So
It's
like
crazy.
when you look at it like that, they've got so much experience in training in the sport. And I guess for me, I think that I still am kind of the old model because it's not even a model. It's just how my life went because I didn't
Yeah,
discover the sport till I was 18, which is more like probably how your brother was or all these older
sure.
generations. So I have hope that, it used to be the golden 30s, and I have hope that for me, it is still going to be my golden 30s.
No, I kind of think so. And that's kind of why I wanted to go down that path a little bit is you don't, you've got 10 years of racing in your legs, right? And training, where again, those Norwegians have more than that, and some of the other athletes, and there's so much more risk for burnout over that period of time where your body, your chassis just isn't as broken down as, it possibly could be. But yeah, dude. So obviously things have changed, and I'm looking at world's results in Nice, and I look at a 14th, and I know I shouldn't say that, but like, I know you would hope to do better than 14th, right? Like you didn't necessarily go there to get 14th, but you had a freaking great race, right? Like it all seemed pretty solid. You tell me how you thought your race went, but just talking about how much the caliber of the sport has risen, like you had a performance like that and we're 14th.
Yeah, it's like really crazy, to be honest, because I executed the race that I set out at the start of the year. Basically pretty much what my ideal scenario was, and I executed that. Like, I actually swam even a little faster than I thought. My bike power was a little better than I thought, and I thought I'd run a little faster. But okay, you give some on the bike, so you take some away on the run. But like,
sure.
And what I did was really a remarkable performance. And
yeah,
a couple years ago, I would have been top 5, I would think, because I was looking. I went to St. George 2022, and there I got 15th, and I had what I would describe as a pretty horrible race. Like I was walking, I walked like 5 miles of the marathon, and I still got 15th place. Here I had by all accounts what would be considered an amazing race, and I was one spot better in 14th.
Totally. And it would be hard to, again, if I just looked at your results, I'd be like, maybe that's Sam Long's best Ironman ever, right? Like, look like it was your PR marathon, but just a little bit.
Yeah.
And dude, you swim a 51. Like 51 used to be like pretty good. Like it was second pack swim, right? And you lost 6 minutes. It's freaking crazy. It's crazy.
2 years ago, they swam 47. So I didn't actually know what time I swam. I just heard 6 minutes back. And so I figured they swam about 47. So I went, okay, I swam 53. Maybe they went 20 seconds fast. So I was like, maybe I swam 52 high to right around 53. And I said, that's kind of, it was only till after I went, oh my God, I swam 51:25. I'm like, that's a really good swim.
Totally, dude. And was that not one of your best swims ever?
It would, especially non-wetsuit. Yeah, it would have to be. Like, it would have to be. And then, on the bike, like, I literally did 382 watts for the climb, That's what I did. Right. And I know I'm a bigger guy, so it's like, but
watts per kilo, that's a lot still.
It's still good. Like 382 watts for 42 minutes, and I still lost time to the front. So it's just
And what I will say is really impressive about your performance, because I was out on the moto for a bit, and it's so easy. It would be so easy where you were to check out, right? And I won't name names, but there were some other athletes in your zone that had big goals and they kind of checked out, right? And you still gave it your all, did 382 watts, which is crazy, and set yourself up to be in a position to be in the fight for, you weren't in the fight for the win, but you were in the fight for the top 10, and you wouldn't have known that if you gave up
if you gave
40K
up
into the bike.
Yeah.
And dude, what was crazy to me is I looked again this morning because when I looked at your result, I was like, okay, this is clearly one of his best performances. Dude, 3 minutes outside of the top 10. And 5 minutes behind, you would have gotten outside of the top 20. So that gap, the top 10th to 20th place was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is crazy how tight that is. The other thing about this is, and I want to get your opinion on this if you're happy to talk about it, is what else stood out was that you were 20 minutes behind the guys who won. So Casper was 3 minutes in front of Gustav. And then I think Christian wasn't too far back, but then it was 5 minutes to the next guy. Right. So if we're talking about how close you are to the top 10 and how tight the rest of this field is it intimidating in any way to see just where those guys are at? It seems kind of bonkers.
Yeah. So they were, the next non-Norwegian was 10 minutes behind. So Laylo was 4th place behind Martin Van Riel was 10 minutes, a little over 10 minutes behind Casper. So I was 25 minutes behind. so I can talk about it because I've literally been telling my wife about this nonstop for 2 weeks, and
Okay, cool.
it's been incredibly difficult for me because
Yeah.
I had what was my best Ironman performance ever, and I was 25 minutes behind. So it's like we say, oh, start the sport for your own self fulfillment and to push yourself, which is great. You know, I've breaking 2 hours and 40 minutes for a marathon is a lifelong goal. But at the same time, I'm a professional, and so I have to compare myself. And to be 25 minutes behind, it's like depressing. It's actually depressing in some ways because it's and at the same time incredibly motivating. But it makes me realize, like, we also can say, okay, trust your process, but there's also a time where you have to go, maybe I need to hone my process, right? Because, like, to me, that the explanation is that they figured out new methods, or the science has developed, or things have developed for them to get an edge, and they're clearly at the forefront of that. And so I have to say, what has changed that I need to implement, and then make that part of my process and trust the process. Because, you know, 2021 70.3 Worlds, I was second place behind Gustav, and now this is the situation. And the thing is, it's not just me, it's everyone else except for 3 people from a tiny country.
It's crazy. And dude, I love that, like, honing the process, and then you can trust that process, right? And I think that, you know, in my intro, I spoke of that, and I love the way it seems like, you know, some people would maybe look at some of your training in the past and be like, oh, he puts a ton of miles in, he's just doing the thing. But, like, you're thinking you're training through, right? Like, you're a smart athlete, right? And you see what barriers you have, and you working on your weaknesses, training your weaknesses, bracing your strengths at times. But it doesn't seem like you ever are just like, well, okay, that's, you know, if those guys are better than me, like, you're like, no, they are better than me right now, but let's see what we can do to try to, you know, get closer. And I will say, I do think does Kona feel like to me, it feels like a better World Championship course for you to tighten that gap.
Yeah, Kona for sure will be, for a lot of reasons. I mean, one, like, I'm probably, I still think I'm the heaviest guy. I think I'm even a little heavier than Magnus, just because I'm a little more muscle bound.
Sure.
And so those climbs at Nice are very difficult for me. And then also my descending, while my descending as an American is very, very good.
Yeah.
You're comparing apples to oranges. Dude, it's apples to oranges. And so I lost a lot of time on the descending, even though, like, another cool statistic is I went on Strava and I did the descent faster, the segments faster than I did in 2019 for the 70.3. So it's like, cool. Sweet. That also means I improved my descending a lot, because I was doing it at the end of an Ironman, you know, when you're a lot more tired. And so
right.
I'm very excited for Kona. I mean, I think the whole sport's excited that we're going to get men and women back on the same day in Kona. And I'm still very proud of myself, because, like, I decided this year, like, I kind of knew, okay, 2 years ago I didn't go to Nice because I felt it didn't suit me, but I was like, I can't keep waiting for this Ironman World Champs. Like, it is the pinnacle. I gotta focus on it no matter where it is, and I'm proud of myself for doing that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I would agree fully. And again, you know, you probably have a different opinion, or you might, but, like, from the outside looking in, that was your best Ironman performance, and especially doing so on a course that maybe, as you said, doesn't necessarily suit you all that well. And was there any, you know, did you prep in any different way for that race and in training, like riding on the trainer, or what you were doing to, like, specifically get ready for Nice compared to other races?
Yeah, I mean, way different, because we went to Europe. So we left for Europe July 8th. I brought the whole family to Europe, and basically made sure to be riding lots of technical roads, working on the descending, working on the climbing. I was swimming there in the Adriatic Sea, so it's also a saltwater sea. So, like, the conditions were very similar to Nice. I got to Nice 2 weeks beforehand to kind of practice the course, because it's a truly unique course in that you're actually not holding the aero position nearly as much as other courses, but you also have to be a lot like, you have to push big power on the climbs, you have to be able to descend. And so these, of course, at the end, you still have to be, like, equally strong. But I do think those unique elements, I did the best I could. Like, it's a little crazy because I was still far off. Like, I shouldn't say far off everyone. It's like, okay, I'm far off maybe the top 5 or 6 descenders in the whole sport. Otherwise, I'm better or on par than everyone else,
Yeah.
but those top guys, yeah, again, descending and everything, they were another level.
Totally. And I mean, and you pointed out that where you could work to be even with or to have a performance with, as you said, your 382 watts. Were you training from what I heard you had a like kind of specific workout indoors on Ruby for the Nice climb that kind of got you ready and prepared for that?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I was actually doing that more because my kind of more specific prep started on the roads when I got there to
Yeah.
Italy, but I was doing that starting like way out in January to build this out. And
Right.
so I was doing,
That's awesome.
yeah, I have a couple of them I was doing, but I think the particular one we uploaded on Ruby was I was doing these like 10-minute intervals with basically at that power with just a couple minutes float between. And that way it wasn't creating so much fatigue that I would be in a hole, but it would basically get me a little bit above that power, even with just a little bit of rest so that I could get that in my body. But the thing was, I was actually thinking 365 to 370 was going to be
Yeah.
like top class there. And then
Yeah.
and then on race day, I went a little above, which I had to, which I guess shows that the workout worked,
It worked. Totally. Yeah. And I mean, what's sweet about that setup is, being able to obviously be indoors on Ruby and be able to, get the output and the physical stress that's going to allow you to prepare for that need on race day. But also like visualization and like course familiarity to a certain extent is probably improved, that once you got to Nice, you were like, okay, I like kind of have an idea what's coming.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I also was doing the descent on Ruby quite a bit, like
Okay.
because then I could do it even on my easy. Okay, it's a Monday. I have a 60-minute easy spin. I would drag the Ruby right to the main descent and I would just spin easy, but I would basically get to see, okay, these are the turns. Of course, I do think you have to get out there and take the actual turns on your bike, but
Sure.
the thing about it that helped was because like that descent it feels like it goes forever when you're there. And like by doing it on Ruby, I could kind of segment it out. Like you kind of start to learn, oh, when I come through this, because some of the buildings or turns are unique, you go, oh, I come through this, and then there's a section that comes up that's more technical and so on and so forth. Or even, oh, when I come here, I'm like 60% of the way done.
Right.
And it just helps to kind of know, as opposed to if you get out there and you've never done it before, you literally feel like, oh my gosh, this thing goes for like, if it can feel like ages. It feels like you're descending for like 2 hours.
Totally. And even if you're there a couple weeks early and you get, half a dozen rides, and that's probably not even realistically that much, you're like, it's so daunting to try to like be like, I'm going to remember this in the next 2 weeks or memorize it. Where what you're doing is more like, it's almost like F1 style, right? Where you like know what turn's coming. Yes, you're not physically, handling your bike as you would in a climb, but you're like, okay, we know it's going to be a tightened left turn into an open right turn or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like you can then do the mental work before you get there, which makes it so much easier once you're there.
Yeah, totally. That's sweet. And dude, it seems like, and again, it's been cool to see you progress in your career. And when we talk about old guard, like I was the old guard when you were coming in, right? And I'm like the oldest guard now, but obviously not participating. But it's cool to see you go from, I don't know that you were ever like the quote unquote like punk kid, but like the old guard always sees a 20-year-old as like the punk kid that's just coming in, right? They like don't know anything. But it seems like you aged pretty quickly and matured pretty quickly. And like I would say, and we kind of talked about this earlier, but like the quote unquote like mental fitness that you have and your mental approach to races is part of your, it's obviously a little part of your public persona, but it's clearly part of the reason why you're able to win as many races you are, put yourself in a position to be a contender in these world championships. Like talk to us a little bit about how you found your way into like realizing the mental game was so important and how you continue to like focus on that.
Yeah, so I mean, if you go back a couple years, I mean, in some ways, there's a natural trajectory. Obviously, when you're young, you don't think things through quite as much. You also maybe need. It's also maybe not a bad business move when you're young. Like nobody knows who you are, so you kind of have to get attention in a way. And
sure.
maybe you don't have to, but maybe young people feel like they need attention, or I should say I felt like I needed to get attention.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Let's make it less general and more specific to me. I should say COVID hit. Okay, COVID hit, and I thought, oh my gosh, like if I don't do something, if I don't make some splashes, if I can't figure out how to get sponsors here, I'm gonna be working a desk job. That was my mindset when COVID hit.
Right.
And so it was kind of like, well, there's no races, like I got to find a way to get attention. And so it was like, I also was having fun with it. And
Sure.
for me, it was in a good sense of humor. And some of it was taken maybe a little too far.
That's fair. Yeah.
But it was also just a young guy, like being excited, saying wacky, goofy stuff, you know? But then on one hand, it was really good because my plan did work. I am not working a desk job. I am now a pro triathlete. You know, I've well and truly made it. But the other thing I've realized through this was that I wasted a lot of energy doing this because my races would be all over the place. If you look back at my results, then it would be sometimes because I would like go and I would say crazy things like, I'm going to set the course record this week. I remember in Boulder, I did that 2022, I think, or one of those years. I said, I'm going to set the course record. And I did. That time I did set the course record. But the problem is, if you wake up on race morning and say, even the race logistics don't, and you said, I'm going to set the course record, well, then you start kind of battling yourself. And then there would be these big implosions, you know, it would be, rather than still finishing strong, I would end up, say, 10th or 15th. And so I realized, like, let's just even this out. Let's steady this stuff out. Let's be more level-headed. Also, it's like, it's better not even to show your cars beforehand. And okay, maybe you can set the course record, but it's, in my opinion, I'd rather surprise people and then do it on race day rather than in the past say you show all your cars beforehand, you know?
Yeah, dude, that's sweet. And it, like, not that when that COVID hit that this was your plan, but you laid the groundwork, even though, to your admission, maybe the racing wasn't as consistent as you wanted, but you laid to the groundwork where now you have, seems like this platform, like, I don't know, like 150,000 Instagram followers, and like you've got people paying attention and obviously good support, as you should. And now you don't have to put the same amount of effort in, and maybe you've got a social media manager and like you've got that stuff dialed, right? Like, do you feel lucky to a certain extent how it kind of panned out? Obviously you worked to that, but it seems like it's kind of laid out for you in a pretty awesome way.
Yeah, I mean, I feel incredibly grateful to be a pro triathlete every day. And I will go back to one of my fears here when I got beat by 25 minutes at the World Champs. Part of me, this irrational side, said, my gosh, if everyone evolves and I don't, I might not be a pro triathlete in a couple of years. Like this irrational fear inside me. And it's like, I love this sport. I love what I do.
That's awesome.
I'm so grateful to be able to push myself, to push my limits, to be able to inspire age groupers. Like, I absolutely love what I do, and I'm so grateful for all of it. And really, truthfully, I want to keep it going till I'm 40, or maybe I'll be like Cam Worth and go until I'm 43. You know, it's an amazing lifestyle. It's an amazing life. And I also realized along this, like, it's about inspiring people maybe to get out and do an Ironman or to push themselves as a triathlete, but it's also about just inspiring people to get out the door and be healthy, you know, and to start small with their goals and to learn that they can do things that they thought were difficult, you know?
Yeah, that's sweet, man. And it's clear that you don't take it for granted, right? At all. And that's, I think that's huge. And that obviously is like, feels good. And like, we want to see people do that. And that's why you obviously like feel like it's a benefit for you to motivate people, but it's also like performance wise, you take it for granted. You're the person that finishes 15th at Worlds and is like, oh, this is why this other person, like, there are a bunch of excuses where you're like, no, man, I want to make sure I can like continue to do this. Let's, go back to the drawing board and figure out how we can best do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's figure out like what needs to change or what you can do slightly. It's not that I'm still doing probably 95% of things right. It's just, there's maybe some science that has changed or some little tactics or techniques or methodologies that have changed. And so just have to figure those out and implement them.
Yeah, dude, that's sweet. So what, I know you got some big personal stuff coming up, and I know you're trying to like mix triathlon and that career and everything we've talked about of, continuing that progression in it. Like what's the next few months looking like for Sam Long?
Yeah, the next few months, I can offer my best attempt at what the plan is going to look like. And uh, as it currently stands, and we'll see if that actually happens. So,
I love
uh,
that.
our second baby is due November 11th.
Right.
Um, and so at the start of the year, I thought maybe I would do 70.3 Worlds, which is on the 9th or the 8th. I forget
Yeah.
which one. And because I thought, oh, if the baby comes, then I'll be able to get on the plane and do that. I've pretty much scratched that. That's still potentially in the back of my mind,
Okay.
but the baby, in my opinion, would have to come like probably a few weeks early.
Right.
So that plan's highly, highly unlikely because
Right.
I also have to kind of decide, like, it's very hard to try, like, that only gives 2 days, plus I need a day to get back. So it literally doesn't give like, it doesn't give any time. And uh, it's hard to train for a race when you're like, there's a 95% chance this isn't going to happen. So the plan that I'm now going towards is doing Ironman Arizona. It's
Okay.
November
Last
6th,
year.
last year of it. I know, which is awesome, especially because Arizona's kind of my hometown now.
Yeah.
And it's then the 16th, so it gives more time for the baby to come. But it's also only a 90-minute drive from my house. So like, even if the baby comes late, I can still make it and do that race,
Yeah.
which would be amazing. And I'm also, yeah, like going back to that process and the methods, like I really feel I need to go through another Ironman block and test a couple more things and
Smart.
kind of standardize that method if I am to fully go after the pro series or not. Even like, I know next year Kona's my goal. I still want to kind of fine tune that Ironman process, because I'll do at least 2 Ironmans next year. Even if I were to qualify, I'll still do 2. And so
Sure.
I want that, yeah, just going through the whole process, fine tuning things. And then I'll go and close the year out at Indian Wells as well, as is kind of the plan.
And that's another short drive too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I've traveled so much this year that I'm like, oh, the drives are gonna be, I can't miss the ones that I can drive to.
No, dude, I like that's rule number one as a professional triathlete, especially like in the States where we take it for granted. Like in Australia, they're like, dude, we gotta fly 12 hours every race that we do or something, right? So
Yeah. Here
you
I
gotta
got a
do it. You
90
gotta
I
do it.
got a 90-minute drive and I got a 5-hour drive. I'm like, oh, in both are amazing, great races.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I get the temptation for Marbella, and obviously we'd love to see you there. Obviously, second place at a world championship before over that distance, but is part of it too like you've been second place and like you deserve a chance at a podium, and you're still capable of being at a podium in that. Is it harder to plan to go to a world championship where you're like, there's so much in the air and you'd be like kind of stressed out, and to try to get on a podium in that position would be more difficult? Or am I just making that up?
Yes and no. I mean, I think like, say, if the 70.3 world champs, let's say they were in St. George this year, like that,
Right.
it's all of that combined with the fact that it's in Europe relative to where I live, because
Oh,
it's
for
like,
sure.
if it was like a couple hour plane ride, it's like, okay, I can be there and I can know, like, if something happens, I can hop on a plane. But like, so then you can kind of fully commit to it no matter what. But it's like,
Yeah.
this is very tricky because it's like, okay, it takes a day to get back and forth. So it's like, something happens, the odds of missing that baby coming is very high. And that's not something I want to risk or jeopardize at all. Because
Yeah.
the funny thing is, actually, with the birth of my first kid, I thought like, oh, I totally would race right around it, and if I miss it, like, my wife will be okay. Like, the racing is like, this is what I thought in my head, honest to God. And then thank God that didn't happen, and I was there, and it was like, it was the most remarkable, amazing moment of my whole life. Like there's no possible way I'm gonna do anything that makes it even somewhat close to miss it, because one, I want to be there for my wife, but two, it's like, it's the most amazing moment I think anyone will. It's literally the
Yeah.
creation of life. There's nothing like it.
Dude, that's awesome. I love that. That's great. And yeah, I think no doubt 70.3 world champs in Marbella can take a back seat to your second child. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. That's awesome. So goal is move forward, obviously, as you said, Arizona, hopefully, Kona qualification, but still goal is to possibly put some effort into the Pro Series next year?
Yeah, I don't know fully yet. I'm kind of waiting on. I know we have the Pro Series schedule, and I'm kind of just waiting to see what the overall Ironman schedule is. If there's potentially another Ironman race that really excites me, or something. Right. I mean, I can tell you for a fact I'll definitely be doing at least 2 fulls on there and at least 2 or 3 halves. It's just a matter of if I commit fully to that third full, or if I feel like my best chance of success is going after, say, 2 fulls and 3 halves, and one of those fulls being Kona, and so those are kind of what I'm weighing, I guess. Obviously, I mean, to go on the Norwegians again, I mean, they did 3 fulls this year, so it worked for them, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the smartest plan for me.
No, and I think that shows that you've got wisdom, right? You're not just going after what other people are doing, because for you to have, like you say, you want to have a great race in Kona, focusing on what allows you to be as good as you can be in Kona is going to give you the best race there, not chasing the Pro Series and then having Kona as kind of the last race that you do of the year,
Yeah, that's how I feel. So it's like, I know I can do really good at the Pro Series if I were to say like the Pro Series is my thing, and that's what I want to be my number one goal. But I would rather I would rather commit to trying to get my best possible result at Kona, even if it means jeopardizing, say, a top 5 finish in the Pro Series.
Yeah, I think that's sweet. And in the end, what I tell athletes, like, if you're doing that and your goal is to have the best performance in Kona, like, as long as you're getting on the start line for enough Pro Series races, like, that will kind of take care of itself. Obviously, you have to do 3 full distance to be competitive to a certain extent, but I think it'll take care of itself. So now that I've got you, I'm getting on a plane to Kona tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
What do you think, man? Are you excited to watch the women battle it out?
I'm excited. Yeah, it's going to be awesome to see. Really awesome to see. It's somewhat tempting, even to go out there and watch it myself, right?
I can see it on your face, man. You're pumped.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think we will see a similar level coming up as we saw in the men's. So I think we're going to see records, giving it's a good day, we'll see records being broken. But even if it's a hard day, I think we're still going to see like a depth of Kona for the women that I don't think we've seen before, a level of competitiveness, a level of closeness, a level of tactics that I think is going to be evolved from what we've seen in the past.
That's right. And I think you're right. And just because I'm a jerk, I'm going to put you on the spot. Give me your top 3, and you don't have to put them in order if you don't want to, but give me your top 3.
Okay. So I think Lucy Charles, Laura Phillip, Kat Matthews. I'd probably go with that order even.
Really?
But then my wild card to disrupt it all is Taylor Knibb. Obviously American. Taylor Knibb's got what she could potentially win the whole thing, but no, I'm gonna actually say I'm not gonna say that's the podium, that order, but I am gonna say that I'm gonna stick with that's most likely the podium, but it could be any order.
No, I think that's a good call, and I think Taylor is gonna make things challenging on that bike, right? Like, there's gonna be, it's not gonna be Lucy off the front. It's I think it's going to be spicy out there for sure. It's going to be sweet.
I think though, like I think all the women basically have had Taylor in her mind for a year of like, she's this good on the bike. And so they've all basically like been pushing their bike far, is what I think they've been doing. Like, they were all like, whoa, like if we continue where we are and where she's at, like, she's going to be coming off with a 10+ minute lead. And so I think they've all maybe worked on their bike more to minimize. Maybe I could be wrong.
No, I mean, I think you're right. And I think it's exciting because, as you said, the depth for me, it's like Solveig Lofseth, like, we don't know what she's going to do. Predator has been like crushing it. Like, there's so many, like, we could keep talking about it, but there's as you said, the depth. Like, I don't know what 4th and 5th place, who's going to be in 4th and 5th place. Like, generally we'd kind of have an idea, where now it's like, there's so many women that are at this super high level that, like, you just don't know.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's a great time to be a spectator and a tough time to be an athlete when you're because it's like you go, even me thinking about kind of, it's so awesome, so much depth and all this. But when you're the athlete, it's like, it's cool to race at that level, but it's also, like we said, I was 14th at Nice, and you go, oh, when you're on the end of that as an athlete, you go, oh, it can be tough.
That's awesome. Well, dude, I'm super stoked that you took the time to sit down and chat with us. I know you got a busy schedule, and best of luck, obviously, with the most important part of your season to remain, and that second kid coming to you.
Yeah, exactly. I'll probably be doing some good time on Ruby, just to be around and help the wife out as we get ready.
I like it. Awesome, man. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Great stuff from Sam, as always. There's no doubt when you talk to that guy there's no doubt that he loves the sport, and it's awesome to see him be such an example and like actually feel like he has a duty to a certain extent to be an example and loves inspiring people. So I appreciate him coming on and look forward to seeing what's coming up for him the rest of the season and into next year. So obviously we've got some big races coming up soon. The IRONMAN World Championships for the women in Kona coming up in just a few days. And obviously we're going to see a lot going on with the Pro Series there. So keep an eye on that race and, obviously what's inside of that, but kind of a lot of the women's work through the season is tallying up through our Ironman Pro Series. So to stay across the latest in the Ironman and the Ironman Pro Series news, follow at Ironman Try on Instagram and check out proseries.ironman.com for standings, athlete bios, episodes of Fighting Chance, replays of all the races, and more. And I want to put a shout out to our presenting sponsor, Morton, the official sports performance nutrition partner of the Ironman Global Series. And all Ironman athletes have access to Morton hydrogels and solids out on the course in 2025. Thanks, you guys. We couldn't do this podcast without you. And if you like this conversation, please like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast. And if you're on the trainer, you can also watch it on YouTube. Thanks so much for joining in on the Ironman Insider Podcast presented by Morton. And again, keep an eye. We got some great racing coming up the next few months and this week especially, and some more conversations here on the Ironman Insider Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Lieto. Thanks so much for listening in.